The Old West. Almost every theme park that I know or carnival has some kind of Old West pioneer themed section or attraction.
Calico Ghost Town is hot.
If you want a taste of that Old West flavor, Calico Ghost Town is the place to go. This place, I think, is maybe the Mac Daddy of Old West theme parks, because it's not just a theme park, it's a real place that actually existed way back in the 1880s.
Howdy, partner.
Gunfighters, snake oil salesmen, and the law. All Old West archetypes. And you'll find them at every proper Old West theme park. On today's episode, though, I'm interested in a different Old West archetype, that of the Old West Prospector. Out of all the characters of the Old West, my favorite one is the miner, the prospector. I've always had a fascination with mines and ore carts. Maybe it's because I'm a child of the 80s and I loved Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom, or I love Big Thunder Mountain at Disney. I don't know, but I've always been so obsessed with old mines. Not the new pit mines, that's disgusting. I'm talking digging into the rocks. So this is why I came all the way out here today. So this work was created by Claude Bell in the 1950s, and some of you would note that some of his other variations of the pack mule and prospector have been seen at Knott's Berry Farm, along with many other sculptures there. These prospector and pack mule statues are thought to be based on a real person. That person's name was Seldom Seen Slim. Before we start today's tale, I think we need to explore a real mine from the 1880s. So this is from the California Silver Rush of the 1880s. This is a real mine that we're touring. This was started by two brothers. Wow, this is amazing. We're walking down the initial drift of the mine. So cool. I'll take a look, see in here. Hey look, it's Don Knotts. I didn't know Don Knotts worked here. Actually, that's a really cool rendition. You could see him with a drill. So these miners would typically drill holes into the wall and then they would stick dynamite in there and blast. Boom. This is such a cool experience because this isn't like some theme park thing. This is a real mine. You can touch the walls, the rocks above you. Amazing. It's not often that you get to tour a real mine like this. Somehow I think, though, that a real mine wouldn't accommodate a 6'2" gentleman like myself. Probably would be crouching down a lot more, but I appreciate the extra height here. So this is an example of hard rock mining. They tunneled through basically volcanic ash, but it's so hard that there's no need for timbering in here. And it did say to keep an eye out for dark rocks, because if we see them, that's silver ore.
Oh, there's silver in these hills.
Are you acquainted with a Seldom Seen Slim?
Nope.
I saw him standing out front, but
Look,
was seeing if he came in here.
I don't know.
No?
Slim,
All right.
my friend.
Thanks for your time.
For an ice cold sarsaparilla.
Look, man, I woke up like this morning and I can't freaking move, man.
Yeah, I'm trying to find Seldom Seen Slim. I heard he passed through this way. And now we emerge into the bright sun. The sun is right in my face. Oh my goodness. All right. That was amazing. Makes me want more. But I think I want the real thing now. Not that that wasn't real. That was a real mine. So how about we go find us an ice cold sarsaparilla and let's get into this. The more one explores the Mojave Desert, Death Valley area, chances are eventually you're going to hear about Seldom Seen Slim, the real Seldom Seen Slim. Seldom Seen Slim was born Charles Ferge in Springfield, Illinois in 1889. He got his nickname because it was said that he was seldom seen, although the vast array of photos you can find of him suggests otherwise. Slim was a true desert rat and perhaps wrote the how-to book on the subject. He spent most of his life living a quiet existence in a small ghost town just one valley away from the infamous Death Valley. It seems he spent his life prospecting, rockhounding, and entertaining visitors of his town about tales of the old days. Many said that he did not bathe for months, maybe even years, and only did when rare rains doused his corner of the desert. Was he just a crazy old hobo of Panamint Valley, or was he a Buddha for the 20th century? Seldom Seen Slim sarsaparilla? And Seldom Seen Slim. Seldom Seen Slim sarsaparilla? Seldom Seen Slim and Seldom Seen Slim, and 3 Slims in view. So I kept hearing about this book by Tom Murray. This was written in 1971, just a couple years after Slim's passing while his memory was still fresh. And this is probably the best source I have, or that I found to date, that talks about Seldom Seen Slim, and there are not too much, to be honest. Maybe a couple sentences here and there that give a couple clues that we will use on this adventure, but still, the man remains a mystery. What I really want to do is follow in his footsteps and see if I could learn or understand the kind of life that this guy lived. I doubt that the real Seldom Seen Slim ever set foot or looked at Calico Ghost Town, but this wouldn't have been alien to him. He actually participated in some other silver booms in other towns, as we're going to find out, but I think Claude Bell and the statue is what really put Slim on the map and ended up with his name on a sarsaparilla bottle. In his book, Tom G. Murray summarizes how Slim made his way from Springfield, Illinois, all the way out to the Panamint Valley over the course of years. He recollects that young Slim arrived at Tonopah during its early boom. Then when swift news arrived of the big strike at Grandpa, which was later renamed Goldfield, Slim was on his way. From Goldfield, Slim followed the mad rush to Rhyolite in the Bullfrog Hills. Slim surfed the wave of mining booms throughout the Silver State right at the turn of the century, where the Wild West lived on into the 1900s. He eventually settled down in a small mining town named Ballarat on the other side of the Panamint Mountains from Death Valley. It's no wonder why Slim was an inspiration to so many. If he truly followed that path in those times, he would have many a tale to tell. All right, let's finish up our Slim sarsaparilla and get on with the adventure. In order to follow the footsteps of the real Seldom Seen Slim, we're gonna have to do some driving. We gotta drive up way north to the high deserts of Nevada, to Tonopah, the location of another very famous silver boom. Well, folks, that about does it for our time in Calico Ghost Town. We got a long drive ahead of us, but let's meet up next time at the Mitzpah Hotel in Tonopah, Nevada, as we seek to answer the question,
Has anyone seen Seldom Seen Slim?